Hey guys, it's Minime27 and I'm back with another video today. If you've read the title of the video, then you know that this is going to be me telling the story of my dad having cancer and kind of my reactions through it. So today I'm just going to start with the beginning, the day that I found out and the weeks, I guess, kind of leading up to when my dad found out he had cancer. So basically how it started, I was an 8th grader at the time. I was in middle school, and my dad, he had had a bit of bleeding when he went to the bathroom and whatnot. They didn't think it was a huge deal. I mean, he was almost 40, or he was about 40 at the time. So they knew that it was time for him probably to go in and have a colonoscopy anyway. But they figured it was just a bleeding hemorrhoid, not a big deal. That's what we were told. And so we just went on with life. It got better for him, so he didn't really have to worry about it anymore. It just happened like once or twice. Wasn't a big deal. And the day of the colonoscopy, he went in, and they didn't find a bleeding hemorrhoid like they thought they would. They went in and they found colon cancer. They found a tumor. And so whenever I got home that day, I got home from school, I was just a normal day. Wasn't supposed to be a big deal. I knew that he was probably tired from surgery and whatnot, or from the colonoscopy, not surgery. So I went in and he was laying on the couch, and I said, "Oh, how'd it go?" And he said, "We'll talk about it later." And that everything changed at that moment when he said, "We'll talk about it later." It's like, oh, that's not a good thing. I went to my room, I put all my stuff down, and I grabbed my Bible because I was confused. I didn't know what to do. I don't remember the exact passage I turned to, but I was just reading something from the New Testament. He came into my room a couple minutes later and said they found cancer. He said, "I have cancer." He said, we don't know the full extent of it yet, so they're going to be doing more tests in the coming weeks, the coming months. But he said they found cancer today. And so me and him, we sat down, we talked about it a little bit. And I knew that cancer was something that people died from, but I didn't really know what cancer was at all at the time. So yeah, and it was very confusing. This kind of showing my age here, but this was before I had a smartphone. This is before smartphones were really popular, and they were kind of popular at the time, but I still had a little slider phone, so it wasn't like I could look up what cancer was and read all the horrible stuff on the internet that's out there about cancer. That scares you whenever you read it, like WebMD and everything else, which might have been a good thing, actually. I don't know. Over the next coming weeks, he went in, got tested. They found out that it wasn't just in his colon, rectum area like they thought it was. It turned out to be in several more spots, several more places. There was a spot on his liver, and there was a lymph node on his aortic artery that looked cancerous. And since cancer was in more than one part of the body, it was automatically stage 4 cancer, which is the highest level of cancer that there is. And so that was scary. I mean, during that whole first 3 weeks while testing was going on, and while he was going up to the hospital and whatnot to get this testing done, it was very scary. It was those first few days, the first day or so, I think I only told one person. I told one of my friends, just because he could tell that something was really bothering me, because I didn't know how to react, and I was full of all kinds of emotions. I was mostly fear and uncertainty, and there was a lot of that, and I didn't know how to react. And so that's totally normal to feel in that kind of way, in that kind of situation, because we aren't meant to hear that kind of information often. It's not something that is pleasant to us, and so it's okay to have those kind of feelings during that. But yeah, then over the course of the next 2 days, I ended up pretty much telling all of my friends that my dad had cancer, and that was a big relief for me to get it off my chest and to let people know that, yeah, this is why I've been acting weird the past couple days, and why I might be down in the future. And so luckily they were all there to support me during that time. And during those first 3 weeks, which is really vital, because it seemed like, I know that they only found 2 other spots, one that was actually cancer, another spot they were worried about, but it just seemed like at least once a week they were saying, "Oh, there's more, there might be more." And so yeah, just trying to figure out the full extent of it there at the beginning, it was really hard, because it was always like, oh, are they going to find more? Or how bad is it? How long does he have with this much cancer in him? And so that was it was a very confusing time. It was a time where I was stressed out a lot. I had trouble sleeping a bit. It was a hard time, but luckily my friends were able to help me through it. And yeah, so that was, I think, the first 3 weeks from when my dad found out he had cancer until I think week 3 or 4 afterwards. That was the time period. It was just learning where it was and what the next steps were. They said that he'd be undergoing chemo, and I didn't know too much about chemo, other than it made a lot of people sick and whatnot. So it was a very confusing time. It was a time of learning what was going on and what needed to be done. And that's always a scary time. And so that's basically the beginning part, the first major point in my story of when my dad had cancer. So I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.